Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, we're going to be going through my makeup memory box. So there are certain products that when they expire, I just have a hard time letting go of for one reason or another. I will tell you about that today, but I just thought it would be fun to go through that. And actually recently on Instagram, someone tagged me in the thing going around stories that is, what is your oldest makeup product? And these are my oldest makeup products because they're like my memory things. I don't have a lot of them from like middle school or high school or anything, but I do have a few that are from high school, so I will be showing you everything that I have in that. So I actually keep everything in a drawer, in like an Alex 5 drawer that I have, and so I can't really like bring the drawer, but it consists of a box and then a few things that don't fit in the box. So we'll just go ahead and go through everything that's not in the box first, and then we'll work our way into that. I actually haven't looked in this box in a little bit, so I'm hoping everything's in there. We'll kind of figure it out together. The first thing is actually pretty new, but sometimes I keep packaging if I really like the collection or something, but I don't always keep packaging, but I did keep this. This is from the new Life Lacquer and Friends collab. I picked up the nail polish in the shade The One Wear, which is like the light purple shade that matches this packaging. And I just love Kathleen Lights. You'll see there are some other things of hers in this box. And yeah, she's just one of my favorite people. I feel like she's so down to earth and I'm just really supportive of her. So I did keep this because I feel like they did such a good job on the packaging. They have the little picture frame here, and then even on the inside of this box, it is just so well thought out. So they have the little peephole and then the number, and the inside of the box is green. So I just feel like they paid so much attention to detail that I really wanted to keep the packaging on this one. I actually have this as well. This is the Spectrum X KJH brush collection box, and it is just too pretty to get rid of, and I can use it also to put other things in. So I don't really know if I'm going to keep this packaging. I feel like I am though. I feel like I keep packaging most of the time from collabs, so like the Spectrum, the Lights Lacquer with Kathleen Lights, and in this box I have the two lip kit boxes from Revolution X Soph. Soph is one of my favorite YouTubers, and I just, again, really support her, and I'm happy to have some of her packaging. This kind of stuff is just like fun for me to go through because it just like reminds me of certain times. Like I remember going into Ulta and they didn't have the display out of her products yet, but I saw online that they had them, and so they went in the back and got them for me. So I got one of each of them, and yeah, that's just kind of what's in this. And I will actually put the little box here in this one, but this will be like the next thing that I add all of my memories to. So the box that I use is actually just a box from Colourpop that I've had since like 2018 or something, and I just put everything in this. So a little look in the box, you can see a few things that I have. Like I mentioned, I really love Kathleen. So this is the Dream Street palette, and I actually do have the shades in here. I also have her Zodiac palette, but I was using it as an empty palette, so it's actually in my bathroom with my makeup bags, but I do have that as well as more of like a memory thing because I didn't end up keeping the shades in there. I used this palette so much in 2018. I studied abroad, and this was one of two palettes that I took with me, and I used it all the time. I loved it so much. It definitely has a good bit of use in it, and this palette just reminds me of that time. I think that she did such a good job with this palette. Everything went so well together, and I just enjoyed it so much. A lot of these shades have pretty giant dips in them, but honestly, it's just a little bit old. I've just noticed that there comes a point, especially with Colourpop, where the shadows just eventually, you know, dry out, don't perform the same. So I did end up moving this one into my memory box, but even just opening this now just makes me so happy because I really love this palette. Again, Kathleen is just my favorite. I ordered this on launch day, as well as the Zodiac palette, also the So Jaded one too, but the So Jaded one was like giant, so I didn't end up keeping that packaging, but I will forever keep this one and the Zodiac one. So the other palette that I took on my study abroad was this palette from Tarte and Aspen Ovard. Again, Aspen Ovard actually holds a very special place in my heart. I love her. She was the first YouTuber that I ever watched. So outside of just like watching a tutorial about this or that, she was the first person that I ever watched like more than one of her videos. And I did pick up her palette with Tarte, and this definitely screams her. This still smells like vanilla, and I do really like it. But again, this palette was kind of to the point where I just felt like it was time to retire it. I did that earlier this year in I think March, and the shimmer shades just weren't performing the same, but this is the prettiest palette I think that I've ever owned, honestly. I think that she did such an incredible job, and I just love this palette. I want to display this palette. I love it. I think she just did such a good job. My brother actually bought this for me for my birthday. So when I studied abroad, it was over the time when my birthday was. And so on my way to leave the country and go there, we actually went by Ulta and he bought me this. So this was my like early birthday gift for that year, and I really love it. My brother's actually bought me a lot of makeup. There's another thing in here that he's bought me. He used to buy me a sketchbook every single year for my birthday, and then I finally was like, hey, I want makeup. And so he would get me some kind of makeup palette pretty much every single year. All right, throwing it back to some more packaging. I have all of the Disney Princess lipstick boxes. So let's have a little story time, okay? I actually started making videos about 2.5 to 3 years ago at this point, and I stopped making them for several reasons, but one thing that actually really bothered me was I made a video about this collection, and I'm not exactly sure like the specific details, but when this collection first launched, I had every single product that came in the launch, and then I think like really shortly after they launched a few more products, and I posted a video about all of it, and I did like one look per princess. So I did 6 looks, and I kind of surrounded them by these lipsticks. And I used the eyeshadow palette, but I really focused it on the lipsticks. And I think that a blush or something came out per princess. And this person commented on several of those videos, like really, really mean comments about like how I didn't even include those blushes and like I didn't even do this or that. And it was just like a waste of time for her to watch it. And it like, it really hurt my feelings, which, because I had just started posting videos, I think I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's like really mean. But all I had were these lipsticks and the eyeshadow palette and I feel like there was something else that came out with it. I really can't remember now. But when it first came out, I got everything in the collection. I got the big like PR box. So I had everything that was out, and I was surrounding them by these lipsticks. And so that's just kind of a little story time, but now I know how to block comments and delete them. So, you know, if anyone wants to be like mean like that, I'll just delete your comment and I'll probably block you. But I do still have the Belle lipstick, so let's look at it. So this is the only lipstick that I have, and I could still like swatch it, but I don't know. Yeah, it smells like Play-Doh, so I will not be putting this on my lips. I just felt like it was too old to use, and so I put it in this box. But all the other boxes are empty, but I just love how they did this. I actually kept the palette for a while, and I didn't actually love the palette itself, like the colors in it, but I loved the packaging so much that I kept it in this box for a while, but ended up giving it to someone who could actually get some use out of it. So I just kept the boxes of the lipsticks. Whoever designed these did such an amazing job. If you guys never saw them, here's 3 of them. And then here are the other 3. I just felt like they did such a good job on these lipsticks. Like, I just couldn't believe how amazing they were. Like, look at this. They're just, I don't know. I feel like they just really nailed this packaging. They even have all of the names on the top in like the color that makes sense for them. And I mean, still to this day, I think this is one of the best sets of packaging that Colourpop has ever done. So I will probably always keep these, like forever. But yeah, I actually stopped making videos and then I started back this January. But those videos are actually, I'm pretty sure, still live on my channel. So technically you could go watch them, but they're very old and I have block brows in them. So fair warning. I do have one more Colourpop lipstick. Actually, I have two. So these were my favorite lipsticks, like favorite. But I feel like they're just a little bit too old to be using. Again, I don't know why. Why do I have two? I can't remember why I have two because this one wasn't even not empty yet. But again, it smells like Play-Doh. So anyways, these are the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop lipsticks in the shade Scorpio Moon. You guys, I was obsessed with this. That's probably why I have two. But I feel like Colourpop's formulas just like go bad a little bit quicker. But for some reason I have two and I feel like they look like different colors. Okay, so I actually do remember that I wore this one and it felt like really, really purple, but that was more the color that the original one was. So I don't know if they are different or mine just like ended up being slightly different, but these are both in the shade Scorpio Moon. And these were like my favorite lipsticks ever, especially when it actually looked like this. Do you guys see the difference here too? Like, it's like really, really bright purple. But anyways, this was my favorite lipstick ever. Like I wore this almost every single day. And I do have the box to one of them. I just love these. I had the What's Your Sign one too. I ordered the whole collection of this too, like the Super Shocks. And I had the Super Shock. I don't know if it's somewhere else. I need to get a bigger box to keep all this stuff in because it doesn't all fit in the Colourpop box anymore. But I might have gotten rid of the Super Shocks and just kept this. But I do have these. I just love Kathleen Lights and I pretty much bought anything that she came out with. But unfortunately, I do not feel comfortable putting these lipsticks on my lips anymore. This was so expensive. I got this last year in November, and this is the Film Star Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. And I have hit pan in both of the sides of this product, but look how bougie this packaging is. So the product sat in here, and then it's like wrapped up in this cardboard, and then these little pieces like go over the edges. I could get it to work. Yeah, so they just like slide on over the edges. And this packaging is just so pretty that I wanted to keep it. And it was also really expensive, like really expensive. But I just really liked this packaging and I love the product too. So yeah, this is pretty much like my first luxury purchase. I wouldn't consider this high-end. I would consider this luxury. And I think this is the first luxury purchase I ever made. So I just felt like this was special enough to hold on to. I've got two more products in the box. So they actually both remind me of my study abroad, which again, you guys can kind of see that most of the products that I hold on to like remind me of something, and that's why I hold on to them. So this one, oh my gosh, I love this. So this is the Too Faced Melted Liquefied Longwear Lipstick in the shade Melted Fuchsia. And this was, again, just like a liquid product, so I felt a little bit weird wearing it after the expiration date, but this is like a bright pink one, and it was, wow, this matches my sweater like perfectly. But this was so pretty. I wonder if they still make this. This kind of smells like a sour candy or something, but it was bright pink. And I actually got this in the UK at TK Maxx. I thought it was so cool they had TK Maxx over there because, you know, we've got TJ Maxx, and I was like, oh, I want to go in there. And I found this, and yeah, I got it. And yeah, I just wore it a lot that summer, and it just reminds me of that, which was just fun. And the last one, this has all of the writing worn off, but this was the Kiko Milano lip gloss, and it was in the shade 04. And I love the packaging of this. I think Nabla has a lip gloss that's similar to this, where it's got like the acrylic top, but I had to stop wearing this because the formula had gone off. But I loved this lip gloss. My study abroad was in Spain, and we traveled a little bit beforehand, which is why I got that lip product in the UK. But they had a Kiko store in Madrid, and I would go there all the time. and I have a lot of Kiko products, but this one was just my favorite standout gloss, and I don't think they make this anymore. I also found a really great mascara from them that summer that they don't make anymore. It was like the Gold Wave mascara. I don't know why they discontinue everything, but this gloss was just so good. I loved it. I probably used up, oh wow, yeah, I can see it in there, and it is like almost completely empty. So you gotta kind of really scrape the edges. I mean, there's a good bit of product in there because there's still the ones on the side, but I really used this product up. It's probably like down, oh man, I can see completely through this product. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell. I don't think so, but it's only on the edges. So I really got my money's worth out of this, but this lip gloss was so good. All right, and now we're down to my oldest makeup, which is the Naked 2 and Naked 3 eyeshadow palettes. You guys, this is where my love for cool tone eyeshadow started. I got this eyeshadow palette, and let me think. Yes, so my brother bought me the Naked 2 for, I want to say he got this for me for my birthday when I turned 16. And then for Christmas that year, my boyfriend at the time, his parents bought me this Naked 3 palette for Christmas, which was really nice of them. And of course, nice of my brother to get me this palette also. I loved this palette so much. And okay, that's not good. I guess the glue is non-existent. Okay, that one just broke so much. That was my favorite shade. This palette's like way too old to be using on the eyes anyways, but it just broke. But yeah, I loved this palette so much. So my favorite thing to do was put teas all over my crease, put YDK. Oh my gosh, I freaking loved this shade. Like the two, okay, let me just show you guys. If you didn't have this palette, I feel like everyone had this palette. Okay, so let's see. This was the shade Tease that I just shattered, and it's all over my floor. I'll deal with that later. And then I would use YDK. I also loved this shade so much. And then I would use Booty Call as like my brow bone highlight, which I thought was so cool for doing that. And then I would use the shade Foxy, which is just like a plain beige color. Perfect. Perfection. I loved this palette so much. This really brings me back. This was like my favorite palette ever. It's essentially been replaced now by Natasha Denona Glam, but this is where it all started for me. This is my first high-end palette. This is my first eyeshadow palette that I think I ever had, really. Yeah, I had just started getting into makeup and everything, and this was just the eyeshadow palette that everyone knew about and talked about. This is the one that I just had to have. And before this, I think I had just used like some eyeshadow that my mom had or something. I don't think that I had my own. And as far as I can remember, this was my first eyeshadow palette, which it sounds like really silly, but it's like kind of could make me a little bit emotional just because makeup is like my favorite thing ever, of course. And this is like literally where it all started for me. So it just makes me happy. And my brother was so sweet to get this for me. This was the first year that the sketchbooks had ended and the makeup had begun. So I've just always been like artsy, into crafts and all that kind of stuff. And it just turned from like painting and drawing to makeup, which is a good thing because I'm a lot better at makeup than painting and drawing, I think. Yeah, and I do have the box that this came in, which is like really tattered at this point. That made a huge mess on my floor. But like I mentioned, I also had the Naked 3. This one started my love for pinks. So we had my love for cool tones starting with this one and my love for pinks with this one. I actually do have the brush still in here. Again, yeah, I loved this palette too. It's so pretty. This palette is so pretty. I will say I actually don't like this format of palette anymore. However, looking at this, I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind it in this kind of packaging, which is interesting because I kind of like hate the long rectangle packaging now, but this one is the Naked 3 if you've somehow never seen it before. I also really loved this one. This was the shade, let's see, what was this one called? Dust, yes. And then I used Limit a lot, which is like this light pink. I used Nooner a lot. I'm looking at which ones had the most dips. These were my top 3. And I also loved Liar. Yeah, I used that one a lot too. So honestly, pretty similar things tone-wise. I used the 4 of these shades a ton, and they actually pretty much swatch the same, but they're just so old. Like, I've had both of these since I was 16, so I just don't feel like I can use them on my eye anymore. There's something in this one. Wow. Never used this. This came with like a sample of the primer potion. I'm like, oh, I did use it. And then I stuck it back in here. I used the one in the shade Sin. I used the anti-aging one, but I did not use the original one or the one in Eden. So, you know, if I want to try a really old eyeshadow primer, they are in that box. This was so much fun for me, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed just kind of looking at my most fun makeup memories. Truly, like, this is just fun for me. I wish I had more pictures of like makeup looks that I had done back in the day, because I can explicitly like remember, if you saw me with makeup on when I was 16, it was this palette. 16, 17, 18, it was this palette. Like, I used the heck out of this palette. I also used Verve a lot, the silver shade. Cool tones, oh yeah. I also used a lot of winged eyeliner, so it's a good thing I have it on today, because it just really like filling that vibe. So this was so much fun for me. When I look back, for sure the Naked 2 is like my most nostalgic palette, my most nostalgic piece of makeup, and it's like my most prized piece of makeup, because like I mentioned, this is like literally where it all started. So it's just really sweet, and I like that a lot. So between that one, the Kiko gloss, and then these 2 palettes as well, so the Dream Street palette from Kathleen Lights and Colourpop, and then the Tarte and Aspen Ovard palette, it's just like got me covered in the memory department. Like, I love this. So be sure to let me know down below, what is your oldest makeup product, and also let me know if you guys keep any products like this. This is so fun for me, so I'd really love to know if you guys do the same thing. This is really fun for me to look back on. I feel like every now and then it's just really fun to look back on the stuff that you've set aside for memory's sake, and it can just be so bittersweet to remember like certain things. And this was a lot of fun. So I'm going to stop chatting, because I have been filming for 28 minutes now, and that is a lot longer than I thought this video was going to be. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I am going to be trying to do my best at Vlogmas. I really wish I had decided to do that sooner, but better late than never. I'm filming really late at night. I've filmed 3 videos today, so I'm going to work on editing all of them, and I hope that I can post quite a bit in December. If not every day, then just as much as possible. So be sure to be subscribed to my channel if you want to see more content from me, especially in the coming month. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!